everyone. Welcome. Before we get started this morning on our program, I want to give a brief update of a few things that has happened and a few reminders as well. On Tuesday, myself and Tom Bray attended the annual Board of Accountancy meeting in Baltimore. The main thing that came out of that meeting is that the Board of Accountancy has approved the concept of firm mobility in the state of Maryland. So the statement was that they have approved the concept. So from that point, we're not sure exactly where it's going to go from there, but I just wanted, so they did vote on the firm mobility issue. And again, the board did approve the concept of firm mobility in the state of Maryland. On a second note, for those with students who have student debt, I just want to remind everybody that September 15th, to get the student loan relief tax credit. So for those who don't have knowledge about this is a credit that's given to individuals who have student loans. And the reason why you have to fill out the application now is because it goes to Maryland Higher Education. What happens, the Maryland Higher Education reviews the application, and then if you are approved for the $5,000 credit, you will receive a certificate in the mail that you will use for your 2018 taxes. So this certificate must be attached to the return for the state of Maryland, and then you'll get the credit. So I'll give you an example. So for instance, if you have a student loan and you end up owing the state of Maryland $1,000 and you are awarded the credit, you will get a refund of $4,000. Now, what does that mean? That means you still have to put the $5,000 towards your loan. So just be aware of that. But again, those applications are due this Saturday. Saturday is the 15th, correct? Yes. Okay. 15. So do you have that link up? Thank you. So you'll see that link right there up on the display. So again, just a few reminders, and I just want to give a shout out to Julie Abod, who gave me a little note to remind me about that. Thank you, Julie, for sharing that information. We always love hearing from our members. So now I'm going to turn it over. We have Dana Brunn joining us this morning. Dana, has been a long-time friend of the society. He comes with us with a lot of knowledge. And again, I want to say congratulations to Dana. He has 18 years with TASC, and he does a day over 32.
Thank you, Sandy. I've had 18 years with you too.
There you go. Okay, so Dana, thank you for joining us this morning.
My pleasure, Sandy.
Great. Now, I'm understanding from all the crazy emails I'm getting that IRS is doing many audits on small and large businesses. And so let's get right to the issue that's going on. So I know it's very important for business to be compliant with this whole healthcare issue. What should an employer, small or large, be doing to be compliant with POP plans and ERISA?
Well, there's a couple things. One, if you're offering a group health plan and the employees are paying a portion of the health insurance premium, you have to have a Section 125 plan in there, which allows the employer to pre-tax the employee's contributions towards their health insurance plan. Okay, and a lot of people mess that up because you've got S corporations which can't do certain things, C corporations, LLCs. It all depends on how you're filed.
It's always challenging.
It's always challenging because every client is completely different.
Exactly.
Whether it's 1 or 2 employees or whether it's 10, 15, or 1,000 employees. Also, with every health insurance plan that you must have an ERISA summary plan description, which means if you have a health insurance plan for your health insurance, and that's chapter 1 of your benefits, and then dental would be chapter 2, and vision,
yep,
disability, each one of those is a chapter in your health insurance plans. So what happens is you have to send out an ERISA summary plan description for all of those, which makes it almost impossible for an HR person to be able to do that. So what you need to do is take all of those together, put a wrapper around it, a book cover around it, and that gives the employer the opportunity to send that out to all the employees, and they must do that in a way that's reasonably calculated to ensure 100% distribution to all of the employees. So they have to send out the ERISA wrap document with all of the certificates of coverage to it in a way reasonably calculated to ensure 100% distribution.
Right.
They have to be able to prove that.
Right. Well, I'll
Okay?
tell you, TASC has always helped the society because I'm right in that boat. I
Mhm.
mean, we
You
have a
have
small,
ERISA?
we have an ERISA plan, and we have I have a lot of things going on, and thanks to TASC, they're keeping me complying within the society
Mhm.
and providing that wraparound option. And I even took it a step further that not only did I give it to them electronically, but manually, I also
Exactly.
had them sign a document saying that it was
Exactly.
received. So I just made it another step again because these things can be very costly. Very
Well,
costly.
it's
to
hundreds
spell
of
to-
dollars per employee per
Oh
day.
yeah, exactly.
Per day.
Yeah,
5 employees could be $500 or $600 per day, and they can take it all the way back to 2010.
exactly.
So that's 8 years.
Yeah, it can be very costly.
It can be extremely costly. We see plenty of it.
Yes. Now, are there any tax advantage plans that can help businesses out there that?
Well, there's a lot. What a lot of the employers did is when the health insurance premiums went sky high a few years ago, they switched to individual plans and they dropped their group plans.
Mm.
So a lot of employers were upping the amount of money in somebody's payroll, which changed to W-2.
Mhm.
Okay. So what they're doing is they're actually giving employees benefits, okay, or trying to pay for the benefits without saying they're paying for the benefits, which you're not supposed to do. So what is available out there now for employers is what's called the QSARA, the Qualified Small Employer HRA. So rather than pay for somebody's benefits by upping their W-2, which is not the legal way to do it, they can actually reimburse employees up to $5,050 a year for an individual or $10,250 for a family, and be able to do that on a tax advantaged way. So if I reimburse your family $10,250, then you're not paying federal, state, and FICA on that. So it's fully deductible to me, the employer, and it's also non-taxable to you.
Oh wow, that's
So
great.
that's a big thing, especially for small employers.
Yeah, so that's not only saving the businesses, but it's also saving
Also
the
saving
employees. That's
exactly.
wonderful. And
So you can
that's
add it
always
towards other
great.
benefits.
Oh yeah. Now I understand from all the hubbub and the emails I'm getting that the world is seeing some more 226J audits. I know it's been a real thorn going on right now.
Mhm.
So what do we need to protect ourselves? And can you share some real life situations that you're experiencing right now?
Yes, I can. Right now, what the government did last November is they decided the IRS was going to send out the 226J. And the 226J,
Yeah, this is a reg.
this is a regulation.
Regulation
Well, actually,
226.
the 226J is an audit form. It's
Oh.
about 4 pages, and it's pretty scary. For any of the employers that were subject to the ALE, the applicable large employer penalties, the pay or play penalties, what they had to do was they had to do all that filing for the 1095s and 1096, 6055 and 6056 stuff for the IRS. So what happened was a lot of employers didn't do it in 2015. And even though it was a transition year, the IRS decided that they were going to go after those small employers.
Oh, you're kidding.
No,
Oh
they did
my
over-
gosh.
they sent out the letters, and a lot of them got there right before New Year's. Happy New Year.
Happy New
Okay,
Year.
in 2017. And they've done over 49,000 audits for the 2015 so far, and they've collected over $4.4 billion from the employers. Now, a real life situation. I've had 5 audits that have been brought to my attention since June. I've been doing this 18 years. When was the last time I had 5 audits in a year?
Really?
Or 2 years or 5 years. Now I've had 5. Now, one of the audits, one of our great accountants that you work with,
Mhm.
and I'll mention him, Glenn Frost, helped me
Mhm.
with a client that actually,
Well, he's an attorney. And
he's an attorney, he's a tax attorney.
Yes.
Okay. And he was able to help me out with this because we had a client that got a 226J that said, you owe $69,000 on it. So one of your MSATP accountants called me and said, I have a problem.
Right.
So I talked to the client, I talked to the tax attorney,
Glenn Frost.
talked to Glenn. They went in and they had never filed correctly for 2015. So they owed 16, that's what the letter says. You owe $69,000, or you owe $328,000, or you owe $724,000.
Not small numbers. Not
These
small.
are not small numbers.
Yeah.
And this little $69,000 audit came out to $13,000 for them to get out of the audit with the IRS.
Oh, wow.
And at the same time, we had to go back and do their ACA reporting for 2016, 17, and now 18, because you have to calculate all those full-time equivalents. So that was another, we helped them out because they got an MSATP discount.
Awesome.
Big time. So they ended up spending another $5,700 for that, $18,700 by not being compliant to begin with. If you do what you're supposed to do,
Mhm.
it is less expensive and it'll actually save you money to be compliant
Yeah.
rather than try to catch up with it later.
Oh my gosh. That is.
And we have one right now that we're doing in West Virginia, and that's for $328,000.
Oh my God.
Okay, which again, Glenn is helping
You
me out
know,
with as well.
it's amazing. We have the same thing with, our taxpayers is, taxpayers, they don't call you until they need you.
Oh, exactly.
Oh yeah. They, suddenly when they get the letter, then we're going to make the phone calls.
It's easier to just do it right the first time.
Well, right. And
Dirtfoot,
Right.
DIRTFT. Do it right the first time.
so I know TASC has a lot of programs in
Mhm.
place that that which our members can sign up for at a discount that
Absolutely.
could actually assist them and again save them on these situations
And their clients.
and their clients. Can you just share one or two samples of that?
Well, let's take an employer with a health plan.
Okay.
Okay, the first thing we do, and I have a broker, one of my favorite brokers is a lady named Nikki Cavender, you met.
Yes.
We call it what they call the Nikki Special.
The
A lot of what we do is between 1 and 20 employees. Okay, so we can do what she calls the Nikki Special, which is a flexible spending account,
Mhm.
an ERISA wrap document, and HIPAA compliance, because you have to have HIPAA with an FSA, an HRA, or a self-funded plan.
Okay,
It's
can
about-
I take a scoop of this alphabet soup that you're talking about? I mean, if you give me
Sure.
one more initial.
So you have a flexible spending account with an ERISA wrap document with the Health Insurance Portability and Privacy Act.
Oh my God.
We put it together for about $2,000. The FICA savings just about cover the program. The employees end up with a better benefit, and it's deductible to the corporation. So literally speaking, by adding a benefit and doing it right, doesn't really cost anything to do it.
Oh wow. I mean,
Especially after the MSATP discount.
I love it.
I mean, let's do it for nothing. That's
Yeah.
why we did it. So we have an employee that's protected. And what we do, as I brought it with me, is I send out a checklist so you can figure out what you need for a group that's 1 to 19, or if they're 20 to 49, or if they're 50 plus.
Okay, great.
So you have a lot of things that are happening right now.
Do we have that up on the web? So Daniel, you'll share that with us.
Absolutely. I'll send it out to you. Absolutely.
Great, wonderful. Okay. Now, we know open season is happening in October. Is there anything that we need to share with our members who are joining us, or what they need to do, or what they should be aware of, or what's happening, so to help them prepare? Because
They need to be compliant.
And so that's the
They
bottom
need
line.
to be compliant. I call it the 4-legged stool. I have a client, that's the first leg of the stool.
Mhm.
The first person they talk to is their accountant when they get their business going. The third person they talk to is their broker. Okay, so now you got those three pieces. Now the broker and the accountant and the client never talk. Okay, then you have the third party administrator, that's me. And as you all know, I talk a lot. So we take that 4-legged stool so that the client is talking to the accountant, who's talking to the broker, who's talking to me. So those 4 things, we can put a program in place for you all to start your December or January, which is where 80% of the renewals happen. And we can actually put a plan in, take a look at it, what they're doing, and put together a better benefit for less money and make it compliant. So you've got to look at your employer base right now. And I can come in and do a seminar for the accountants, which is what I do. We did this with the whole company. Okay, they brought in about 25 of their clients, and all of them sat back and went, "Oh my gosh, how do I get this done?"
Right.
And that's what we did.
While you're sitting here talking, Daniel, I'm visualizing a stool. You got your 3
4
chairs, and here's Dana on the top, and he's the seat. So we got Dana, and he's the seat, and he's bringing it all together.
I try to bring it all together.
That's what I'm visualizing.
And we
That's a
ought to
great
guarantee
idea.
it. I mean, so if you do this right, you've got $1 million hold harmless. It's an audit guarantee. So if you're doing anything through TASC, then you actually we defend the client.
Well,
So if
you
anything
got the
happens,
protection.
exactly right.
Wow, that's great.
Exactly right.
Now I know, Dana, you're like Superman. I think you have an S under that shirt somewhere.
Well, I'm
So-
Batman.
Oh, you're
I'm
Batman.
sorry.
Oh,
I'm
Batman.
married to Batgirl.
Okay. So I know. So if we want to contact you, and I know you can't do it all yourself. Is there anyone else that you're working with that that need to
Absolutely.
share? Okay.
One of the most important things that an employer can do if you have a sole proprietor or a one-person C Corp or S Corp or an LLC that can hire the spouse, as you all know, AgriPlan, BizPlan.
Hmm.
And I have a partner who handles, we've gotten so big with everything that's going on. My friend and colleague, his name is Jason Noel.
Okay.
And Jason handles all of the 105 biz plans. So the average client saves about $5,000 to $6,000 a year
Wow.
by using the biz plan with an audit guarantee. He handles the small business, and then anything that gets into compliance, where you end up having to have a health plan that needs an ERISA document, that needs a premium only plan, that needs an FSA or HIPAA, that gets turned over to me. So between the two of us, and you all will see us at the seminars, we're going to be there a lot this year,
Mm-hmm.
but we'll be able to even come in and meet with you, meet with your clients, talk with your clients one-on-one or in a group setting. But Jason is fantastic.
Awesome.
So I have Jason, and then I have a team called Team Transform. So any Team Transform.
Love it.
So we can transform all of the things that I'm doing over to Team Transform and transform that client into a compliant client that's saving money and doing it right.
Awesome. That is great. Well, Dana, thank you so much
That's
for
my
being
pleasure.
here this morning. You have really shared some very important information, especially concerning the audits as well as the open season coming up in October.
Mhm.
This is going to be on everyone's mind very shortly. So this is really important information. Thank you again for joining
Can I
us.
add one thing?
Certainly, please.
You all know about the 12,000, 24,000 Tax Cuts and
Yes.
Jobs Act.
Mhm.
This is completely different this year, folks. It really is. And also, TASC is huge in philanthropy. And I wanted to touch on that.
Okay.
Take a look at the Greater Give, because the Greater Give is a philanthropy program. So when you have a flexible spending account, what TASC is working on right now with the Congress and the Senate is flexible giving accounts, which is going to allow employees to set money aside for out-of-pocket for those 501c3s that they do. It tracks everything that they do. They have a receipt at the end of the year, and we're working on having that as another deduction on top of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, that we're going to be able to go back and do charitable contributions. So that's going to be tied in more than likely after the first of the
Oh,
year
we'll look forward to getting
into
some
your flexible spending account.
additional information
Very
on
big
that.
deal. And with the hurricanes that are happening right now, people are looking for ways to give, and we've got the platform to do it. We do the federal government for almost 6.4 million people.
Wow.
So yeah, that's pretty big.
That is really
Office
big.
of Personnel Management.
Awesome. Oh,
But thanks, Sandy.
great. You know what?
Let me
That's
come and
great.
talk to you all
Yeah,
this morning.
wonderful, wonderful. Now I want to welcome Josh Roberson. Josh is joining us this morning from Upper Marlboro.
Mhm.
Josh is the past president of MSATP and currently chair of the nominating committee. Josh, can you give us some thoughts on why it's important to volunteer and how volunteer helps you personally and professionally?
I can, Sandy. Good morning. How are you doing?
Good,
Morning,
great. It's
Josh.
great seeing you.
Good. Well, one of the key things in reference to volunteering is getting to know your own profession. And basically belonging to MSATP gives you that avenue in order to be able to get the professional help, mentoring, and also get into more of the accounting field. Personally, myself, I've grown as a leader in reference to being a part of the MSATP program, starting off with committees and then going into the board and then becoming a president of MSATP. Gave me leadership abilities and also connections to the federal and state government departments. So volunteering is not just helping me, but it's helping others as we go along.
Now, I know as chair of the nominating committee, you are always looking for future leaders within the society. With over 2,000 members, you have a huge bank of candidates that you can draw from. If someone is interested in this and looking to take on or stepping up to the plate for a leadership position, what steps should they take to make that happen?
First, I would tell them at each seminar, there's always a member of MSATP board there. I always recommend going up to that individual, introducing yourself, and just asking questions about the organization's internal workings. From there, look at the committee list, join a committee that you think that you're interested in being on, and join that committee and get involved with the committee work. After that, if you think that you're more interested in moving up the ladder to leadership, the nominating committee will evaluate how you've been doing with the committee work, perhaps becoming chairman of that particular committee, showing your leadership abilities, and then looking to maybe become a board member, starting maybe with a delegate situation, and then moving up from there. But the first step is talking to someone that knows the organization.
Now I know, with everyone's time commitments, and some people I know work on a different clock than I do. I have 24 hours. Some people that I work with, i.e. Dana, he seems to have a 36-hour clock. I don't know where his is, but that's going to be one of the questions that they're going to have is what kind of time commitment are we looking at? Is it flexible? What can a person expect?
Well, one of the key things, Sandy, is our organization always respects the time of our sole proprietors. Okay. The key thing is that that we do not have any meetings during tax season.
That's right.
which is the most important situation. So the key thing is that again, remember that our organization respects the time of our members, and therefore most committee meetings are quarterly, maybe 1 to 2 hours. If you begin to move up the ranks and come on the board, a little more time commitment, okay? But I think the board only meets quarterly also. That might be maybe a 3-hour meeting. So your time is respected, and that's what we thrive to do, because we're all basically 1 to maybe 3 member organizations, and therefore we know for a fact that the first thing people say is, how much time do I have to spend in order to be a part of this organization? And again, just remember that we respect your time so that your commitment will be fulfilled.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, the society is very blessed to have such great volunteers and that work with me as well as the staff, and you being one of them. And I just wanted to say, do you have any final thoughts that you would like to share with the audience on volunteering and you being one of the leaders in the society?
Sandy, there's a saying that I always like. Help someone to help yourself.
Exactly.
Okay? So basically, when you're volunteering and doing things, you're also learning and you're growing yourself. So basically, remember, don't be an observer, be a participant within the organization, and you will get the benefits that come with that of helping somebody else to help yourself.
Thank you so much, Josh, for being here being with us this morning. I tell you, you bring a lot to the table. As I said, we are blessed to have you as a volunteer of the society. Not only are you a volunteer, but I call you a great friend of mine. Absolutely. And I want to just wish you and Phyllis a wonderful wedding anniversary that you shared with us this morning.
Congratulations.
And have a wonderful day. And again, thank you for joining us this morning and take the time.
Thanks, Josh.
It was my pleasure, Sandy. And you can always call on me for whatever you need me to do. Thank you.
So much.
All right.
Well, I just want to close out today. We do see, you were talking about Glenn Frost early this morning. I received notification that Glenn has notified me that they're hosting the 18th annual Tax Professional Networking Night on November 15th at 6 o'clock at the Prime Rib and Arundel Mills Mall. So this event is hosted annually by the Maryland State Bar Association. So I want you guys to mark your calendar now. This is a great event. Again, it's November 15th. Registration is not open yet, but space is limited. So once it's open, we'll make sure everybody gets an announcement about that. But I want everyone to mark their calendar, and that's from 6 to 8 on November the 15th. Now, next week, we're going to have Kate Ladon. You met Kate.
Oh, she's fantastic.
Yes, from Ladon Marketing, and she will be joining us about sharing some hot tips on marketing your practice. So everyone who is looking to maybe expand on their practice and even learning to communicate better with their clients, their current clients, you might want to chime in and listen in into that presentation. So
Very
that
good.
she's awesome.
Very good.
So okay, I just want to wish everyone thank you for joining us today, and everyone please be safe. Florence is about to hit the coast, I think, and so for those of you who have family members down there, our thoughts are with you, and so I wish everyone to be safe, and we'll see you next week.
Our prayers are with you.
Thank you.
Thank you.